Today's session is called Gastronomic Heritage, which is one of our future-focused food and nutrition scenarios. And these scenarios specifically are tailored to the current dynamics that we're suffering from, and I use that word deliberately, of a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. And how do we navigate that really tough environment? These are the big questions that come up really regularly, which are, what are you going to do with your money? What should you be investing in? What's the next thing that's going to help your business grow, or going to help your business be more efficient for the long term? What should I invest next? But then also you've made some investments. Some of them you may have just, stepped into that field a little bit, but what should you be doubling down on and actually really pushing forward? And at the same time, there are going to be areas that maybe you considered as a long-term trend that's actually seemed to be a little bit unsuccessful. And what should you stop working on? What should you put to bed? And finally, there are a lot of technologies that get quite exciting, that are a bit blue sky, that you're not quite ready to invest in yet. And it's about, how do we monitor that? How do we stay ahead and watch it so that you're a leader, not a follower, when the time is right? And these are the questions that we're going to try and answer over the course of this 4-part series. As you know, you invested in something, it's going well, and then something blows that up. And it's, how do we navigate those spikes so that you can continue to go up the mountain? That's exactly what we would love you to think about in today's session. So what are those parameters that we felt were the most challenging to navigate right now? And we saw 2 that were really interesting. The emergence of synthetic solutions versus the desire for naturalness as one area where countries can go either way, consumers can go either way. And then also the topic of food insecurity, from food abundance to food insecurity. So of course, if the industry lands in just one of those corners, such as food abundance and the desire for naturalness, so no synthetics, what scenario does that create? Well, it creates gastronomic heritage. And hold that thought, and we'll talk about gastronomic heritage in a moment. But there are other scenarios that we're going to be talking about in this series, with food abundance and an acceptance of synthetic solutions, the idea of novelty cuisines, brand new food sources, the idea of synthetic sustenance, which is in a synthetic accepting world, but actually in a world of really harsh food insecurity. You need synthetic solutions to solve all your problems. And then finally, food insecurity, but natural food sources create sustainable food sovereignty. So these are our 4 scenarios that we're going to talk about. And let's be honest, all are realistic, and all are just as unrealistic as each other. And in different countries, many of these scenarios will appear in very different ways. So pretty exciting. The scenario of a desire for naturalness, minimally processed solutions, and where food abundance or food insecurity has settled down, there's a focus on the traditional heritage of the food in which we eat. And then we have this fight back against synthetics. Last year, we talked a little bit about Italy finding synthetic foods a problem for their heritage, for their farming industry, and for their food culture. And they've actually teamed up just 1 month ago with delegates across Europe, including France and Austria, and many others, to really fight back against synthetic solutions, lab-grown solutions, because it poses a threat to tradition and to their food production and their cultures. It's a lot of countries. So how does this synthetic solution play out over the next few years? And then lastly, the idea of authenticity. And this is a study from the EU Commission, which says, with a stamp of authenticity, food products have a plus 100% better sales value than if they didn't.
From an agriculture point of view, if you're an agriculture player or an ingredient processor, then embracing soil technologies to enhance soil health and fertility is crucial for maintaining the authenticity and nutritional value of heritage crops. Implementing regenerative technologies to restore the biodiversity and ecosystem balance, aligning with the principles of gastronomic heritage, that emphasizes the harmony with nature is crucial. And when you're coming to the food processing area, utilizing clean label ingredients and minimal processing techniques will ensure that processed foods retain their natural flavors and nutritional integrity. When you're going to the distributors and retailers part, harnessing the power of data analytics to optimize the supply chain efficiency and ensuring the timely delivery of local and seasonal foods will enhance the accessibility and availability of these ones, because we're dealing more about local and seasonal foods in this scenario. And establishing online marketplace and blockchain platforms to facilitate a transparent transaction and traceability, fostering trust and integrity in the gastronomic heritage world. So food players need to adapt farm to table platforms, which are quite popular in these days, to connect directly with the local producers and source fresh seasonal ingredients for authentic culinary experiences. We've looked at a lot of things right now. So I just wanted to give you a summary of what we've seen and what you can expect and what you need to do in this scenario. So in summary, by taking immediate action on regenerative principles, scaling up our efforts, and investing in technologies for longevity and sustaining to produce better quality of the ancient crops for longer term will work in this scenario. And that's very key, because sustaining that production, sustaining to do what we have reinvented is very, very key in this scenario.